We've got a very interesting report to take a look at here today involving New York Rangers potential superstar Alexis Lafreniere and his kind of contract situation right now with the Rangers. So we're going to take a look at that report in today's video, that article in Elliotte Friedman's 32 Thoughts here. We'll take a look at that, kind of really dive deep into it, kind of what it could mean going long term with Alexis Lafreniere and kind of what a deal could look like for him as well. I have made a couple of videos obviously in the past, kind of talking about Lafreniere in this contract situation, but we have a new piece of news here that definitely could kind of decide kind of what type of a deal he ends up signing with the Rangers. And this is obviously a very key player for this Rangers team long-term wise. I mean, guys like Panarin, Zabane, Jack Kreider, they're not going to be here forever, and you need that next wave of superstar level kind of guys to really, step up into that top six there and be those long-term future pieces. And a guy like Lafreniere, presumably as of right now, is definitely looking like the next kind of wave of possible superstars to be in this Rangers top six. Right now, he's definitely playing like a star level guy, but can he really kind of take that step up to the superstar level? I think he definitely can, and hopefully we see that this season as well, and he definitely has looked like that at moments as well. So let's take a look here at Elliotte Friedman's 32 Thoughts article, and he ends up saying here, quote, "I understand why the Rangers would crave maximum term with Alexis Lafreniere, but I'm not convinced he'd want to do that. An 8-year deal takes him through his age 31 season, cutting down on the ability to strike again in his prime." And for Alexis Lafreniere, it would make a lot of sense for his sake to possibly earn the most amount of money possible in his NHL career to look to sign more of a kind of midterm deal around that possibly 4 to 6 year mark, where obviously Alexis Lafreniere, being a guy of his age right now, he's still so young. If he signs an 8-year deal, like Elliotte Friedman said, it's going to take him through his age 31 season. If he cuts that down and makes it more of a 4 to 6 year deal, he has the opportunity to hit unrestricted free agency as a, 28, 29, 27-year-old, whatever it is, depending on how long he signs, obviously, and then look to get a monster-sized deal, as he's in his late 20s, to where he could get that 7-8 year deal, possibly, depending on obviously what happens, where he'd sign if he came with the Rangers or with another team there. But, 7 or 8 year deal, 6-year deal, whatever, another long-term deal with a lot of money, obviously, to sign him and kind of take him through his kind of mid to later 30s, as that could really be beneficial for him there and allow him to make an insane amount of money over his entire career. So no matter what, he's going to sign a big deal, whether it's at some point this season or this upcoming summer, and it's going to be with the Rangers. I'm pretty much guaranteeing that, 99.999% sure he's going to be back with this team. I don't see a way that he's not. But the question is, how long of a term is this deal going to be? And I really hope it is long term. I would love to see him sign an 8-year deal, but obviously for Lafreniere, in his sake, it makes a lot more sense to go for a more medium-term deal, which would be less ideal for the Rangers, because obviously you're not going to get him for, most of his prime possibly. Most players' primes, you could say, are kind of sometimes, mid to later kind of 20s to early 30s possibly. Players are different, obviously, but for the most part, it's kind of around that range where if you're getting Lafreniere signed on a probably pretty great, deal value-wise for the team, obviously, especially in 3-4 years. If he signs an 8-year deal at something around $8 million, let's say, that deal is going to look great in 3-4 years. So if you have Lafreniere at his age 30, 31-year-old season, and he's only making about $8 million, you take a look at that, and that's 7-8 years from now. Think about how good of a contract that could look like. Whereas if he signs that 4 to 6 year deal, it's only going to be in his mid to later 20s at the latest, and then he's going to be looking to sign that monster deal. Where at that point, what is it going to be? Who knows what's going to be 13, 14, 16, whatever it is million for a guy like Lafreniere. I don't know. Obviously, that's way down the road, and we'll see how much the cap goes up. But you get what I'm saying here. If he signs a long-term deal, a 7-8 year deal, which obviously is probably more like an 8-year deal, probably not a 7-year deal. If he does sign that long-term deal, more than likely, but either way, what I'm trying to get at here is the point is the longer term deal he can sign, the better it's going to be for the Rangers here. I am quite certain Lafreniere is going to be a great player for the next long while here. I don't think what we've seen so far this season and last season is just a fluke, and it just kind of came out of nowhere here because Lafreniere is looking to get a big payday. I think this is a guy who long-term is going to be an absolute stud in the NHL for years and years to come. I can see him being well over a point per game player for many, many years to come, being a true top line level guy, being someone who makes, Team Canada, obviously, at some point, whether it's, at this upcoming of the face-off thing that we have in February, whatever it is. I think Lafreniere is going to be a star level guy in this league for a long time. So that's kind of why I do really want to see him locked up long term. And Obviously, if he signs a midterm deal, it is what it is, but it would be a lot more beneficial for the Rangers to try and get him locked up on that long-term deal where, in 4, 5, 6 years, if he's on an $8 million contract per season, that could look like an amazing deal, which is what we want to see, obviously. And you take a look at the Boston Bruins there. When they were winning those cups, man, they had guys like Marchand just making just over $6 million. That was an absolute steal of a deal for so long. Bergeron had a good contract too. Pasta did for a while as well. You got to have these good contracts for the most part to really help you have the ability to win cups there. Obviously, Crosby was on a good deal for a while as well. So seeing Lafreniere possibly sign a not necessarily team-friendly deal maybe as of right now, but you take a look in the future, it could definitely look like a team-friendly deal. So I really do hope he does end up signing that 8-year deal long-term wise to where in a few years he definitely could look like an absolute steal. And if you want to watch another video of me talking about Alexis Lafreniere's kind of contract and some news surrounding that, I will have this video or another one linked at the end of this one. But taking a look here at 4 different players who are around Lafreniere's kind of age and are also around his skill level, as well as kind of making a somewhat comparable contract to what Lafreniere could possibly end up getting if he does sign that 8-year deal. So all these players are making around $8 million over 8 years. Obviously, they all didn't sign them this season necessarily or last season, but kind of around recently, they signed these deals and they're all about the same as well. And I think it could be comparable deals to Lafreniere's potential one that hopefully he does sign at some point in the near future. So the first one here, Lucas Raymond of the Detroit Red Wings. He went 3rd overall in the draft where Lafreniere went 1st overall. He's making 8 years at $8.075 million per season. So not too bad there, just over $8 million per season. I think that's pretty fair. Robert Thomas of the Blues there, 8 times 8.125. Jordan Kyrou, another Blue there, making 8 times 8.125 as well, the exact same contract. And then you have Tim Stützle, the guy who went 2nd overall in Lafreniere's draft, the German. He ended up making 8 years at $8.35 million per season. So I think those 4 players are all fairly comparable to Lafreniere. I think you could argue maybe Lafreniere's a bit better than these guys, or you want to argue those guys are better. Either way, they're all around kind of the same skill level. They're not too far off of each other. And I do think these are somewhat comparable deals to what we could possibly end up seeing Lafreniere sign if he does get that 8-year deal, which I really hope he does sign. Anyways, that's going to pretty much do it for this video. If you have enjoyed, definitely hit that like and subscribe button for a ton more New York Rangers content. I'll be posting pretty much every single day like I have been for a while now. So if you are a New York Rangers fan, definitely hit that like and subscribe button for a ton more New York Rangers content. If you are a Rangers fan, there's no better place to be on YouTube than this channel. And also, definitely comment down below your thoughts on this kind of news / a bit of an update possibly. I mean, obviously, this isn't Elliotte Friedman saying it's a guarantee where Lafreniere is going to sign like a 4 or 5 year, 6-year deal, for example, but this is kind of hinting at the possibility of Lafreniere possibly kind of wanting a medium-term deal, which does make a lot of sense for him and his ability to possibly make the most amount of money possible during his NHL career, which, obviously good for him. He's going to want to make as much money as possible. I can't blame the guy for that, but for the Rangers team-wise, it would be more ideal for him to sign a longer-term deal, in my opinion. So definitely comment down below your thoughts on that news, and also what kind of a contract do you want to see Lafreniere sign. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one, and let's go Rangers.